This is the Untangled Knitting Podcast, and welcome. It is a very beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Oakland, California, and I'm filming at the end of the day, and I'm definitely going to be racing the light, so I suppose that means I should get right into things. If you're new here, welcome. I use this space on YouTube to talk about my knitting projects and how I approach the community aspects and solitary endeavors of knitting. And this is my, I think, 10th episode, which is really exciting. I call it the Untangled Knitting Podcast because for me, a lot of why I knit and why it's important to me is because it's a place for me to kind of both think and take a break from thinking, if that makes sense. I really can get a little tied up in knots mentally sometimes, and for me, knitting is actually a way of undoing those. But I just wanted to mention the beginnings or origin of that name and what I was thinking about when I used it for my Instagram page first, and then my Instagram, which is dedicated to knitting, which is Lily_Untangled. And please feel free to follow me there. And yeah, so if you're a returning viewer, that also might be news for you or new to you. And if you are a returning viewer and you have any thoughts about the name of the podcast or have any input, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. And I follow a pretty standard YouTuber knitting format where I usually start by talking about what I'm wearing. This is my Wandering Flock lento. The lento pattern is from the Lina magazine, and the yarn I used is a combination of Wandering Flock DK and Wandering Flock mohair, and the colors are Alpine for the bright blue, Dusty Rose for the pink, and Navy for the blue. I used 2 strands of mohair for each section, either a strand of, and it was a strand, one of the strands was always the color I was working with, and the other strand was always a variegated color that was called Sunsets in Brooklyn, which goes from very bright blue, almost purple, all the way to a very light pink. So this is my sunset lento. And I love it. I wear it. It's definitely the piece I reach for most, particularly these days as it's getting chillier. I also just realized that you guys might be hearing a lot of construction noise. I thought these guys were done for the day, but they're also enjoying the last light as well. So what's next? No FOs today. My latest FO was my Andrea Mowry Alpenglow, the Rhinebeck sweater, which is in my Rhinebeck video, and that I have not posted yet, so I have no business really filming right now, but I just had the moment, and I was like, I could either edit the Rhinebeck video and post it, or I don't know if I'll be able to film before Thanksgiving, so maybe I should just film now and then have a week where there's 2 podcast episodes that go live within the same week. Why not Thanksgiving week? So that's my intention. We'll see what happens. Sorry, I just kicked my tripod. So yeah, no FOs, but lots and lots of WIPs, and 3 of them are new to the podcast. The first is my Marseille sweater, which is with my new Rhinebeck yarn. This is the Hellomello Amazing Green. Did she name it something fun? No, I don't think so. It's just green. It's just happy, happy Kelly green. And I'm using it to make the Marseille sweater by Petit Knit, which is a really great striped sweater design. And my other color is this beautiful deep navy that's dyed on a, here I'm gonna go right in for you, get that macro. It's dyed on a brown base, so there's just a huge amount of depth to the color that you can really see actually beautifully in that light. So some pieces are really luminous and some are quite kind of dense and soak in the light more than emit it. And together they just look really wonderful. Just adore this. So I think it's gonna be a great combination. I have just gotten started on the back yoke for this, but you can see how it's knitting up. I'm getting a really nice gauge on this. It plumped up beautifully in my swatch too. So I think that it's gonna be a really nice one. I'm thinking I'm going to, I did not start doing helical knitting, here we go, on the back section, but I think once I move and join it in the round, I will. Just because there's a little bit of pooling, a little bit of stripe that I would rather not see. But of course it's gonna be broken up with stripes across the body as well. So that I just like kind of had to do with this yarn. It was just calling, and so I cast it on kind of without really thinking about all the other things that I wanted to do and all of the new yarn that was coming my way. So after that cast on, which I kind of did in all one evening, and then I was like, oh wait, there's so much more I like need to be working on. So I've really put it to rest for the moment. I will get back to it after. Okay, I should just jump into it. I got involved with another test knit, and I'm so happy I did. This is the Cargill Sweater Junior or Kid Edition, and this is by Rebecca from the Crea Bea Knitting Podcast. And the full-size adult version of this sweater I knew I wanted to make, and when I saw that she was going to have a kids version, I felt so lucky because I knew this was going to be a really great use for some really, really special yarn. My daughter loves purple. It's her favorite color. And so I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to use 3 very special purple yarns to me. So this is the colorway Astor from Explorer Knits and Fibers. It was one of the spring tonals from them. And I've paired it with 2 different yarns. For the body, I have paired it with this really amazing, very, very special Rescue Angora silk blend from Shaggy Bear Farms in Oregon. And this is another one of my yarns from my Rose City Yarn Crawl, which was super exciting and fun. And then so that's what I've held throughout the body. And it's given such a beautiful lightness to what is a quite dense fabric. You can see the dip stitches here, and I'll get more into the pattern in a moment, but I'm still on this yarn kick. And then for the ribbing, I'm using the corresponding Astor colorway in Explorer Knits and Fibers Suri Alpaca lace. And this is quite, not dense, but it gives a real weight to it that I think is going to feel so good in the neckline and then on the cuffs, just to kind of up the ante a little bit. And this opens up really beautifully in blocking. This dip stitch is basically like a giant cable in a way. So you can see how it is a little bit lacy. Oh, but isn't that nice? It's really, really great. And my daughter has tried it on a number of times and just loves it. The pattern is super addicting. It feels really good to do. It's a great combination of ease and interest, I would say. And I just highly recommend it. I'm a little jealous that I did one for my daughter before me, but I'm getting better about my gift knitting. So It's just so cute. Love. Yeah, so I'm really excited for the final product, and I'm about halfway done with this sleeve. My daughter doesn't like her sleeves to go down too low, kind of like her mom. So we're gonna aim for the ribbing to start right around here, her 3/4 length for that. So I'm very excited for that piece. Really, really beautiful. Thank you, Rebecca, for having me as a test knitter. Oh, do you hear my little boo? My son Luke has been coughing for about 6 weeks now. He's out of the actual kind of really scary bit of this bronchial virus that seems to be sweeping the nation in pediatric cases, but he's, you know, still got this residual cough, so apologies if you hear a little toddler cough. Oh, should I talk about what I'm drinking? Because it's pretty decadent. Oh my god, it's so good, but I almost spilled on my sweater. Okay, because, oh my gosh, I put marshmallows in it. I did it. This is 4 or 5 hour old coffee, which I then added a little bit of chocolate, hot chocolate to, and then we did get some marshmallows for the kids who are gonna be home from school next week. And I put a few in my coffee. So excuse me if I get a major sugar rush, but it's really good. Okay, what's next? WIP number 2. This is for another person in my family, my husband. And I will say too, there's a real fiber theme to this episode, which is there's a ton of Explorer knits. There's a ton, because my Ireland collection pre-order, which I ordered in August, came through last week, and it definitely inspired a lot of casting on, because I had already cast on my daughter's. I knew I had been waiting for the other recipient that I was going to be knitting for this fall, my husband Scott. Here is his beautiful, you can see the shoulder line here, I think, nicely. This is the Northland sweater, also by Petit Knit, and it is a really fun, super easy, gender neutral knit, and I'm so glad I found this pattern. I don't feel like there's a huge amount of folks knitting it, at least right now. I'm not seeing it all over the place, but I'll kind of talk through how I arrived at the pattern, because I knew what I wanted to use for the yarn. My husband picked out this incredible colorway, Giant's Causeway, which is inspired by a really beautiful rock formation in Ireland. And it is a very blue-gray with deeper flecks. There's some green in it, but it's a lot more blue than green. I thought it was going to be a bit more aqua, and it's very, very subtle. I'm pairing it with Rowan's Felted Tweed, which is another gray with these pops of more of a cobalt blue. And the reason I wanted to put these two fibers together is I wanted to create a fabric for my husband that was going to be really warm, really snuggly, but still have a kind of tweedy structure that's coming from the Rowan Felted Tweed, which is a blown yarn, and that was going to, you know, stand up to wear. So as I was looking at a lot more of the gender neutral or male gendered patterns that I was looking at on Ravelry and Instagram and other resources, I felt like there was a lot of textured work, and my husband had explicitly asked for a very plain sweater that he could wear more like, I think, kind of a sweatshirt, like a dressed up sweatshirt. And so I also was kind of struggling with gauge. I wanted to make something that wasn't super bulky, that had a level of refinement to it. And so I'm knitting this actually on size US 6 needles. I did the first part on 7s just to keep it really, you know, looser above so that there was more, and then there'll be more structure in the raglan section, because this is a combination yoke, which I really love. And I'm just now entering into the standard raglan section after getting over the shoulder caps. And I have to say, this fits so beautifully, and I am already planning to make one for myself as well. I love this construction. I think it's really elegant looking. It has these side pieces, really do add a level of kind of tailored, a kind of tailored look that I really love. And yeah, we're almost there. We're almost into the body, or yes, I think I'm gonna split for sleeves tonight. So very excited about this and hoping that we will have some fun with our Explorer knits for both my husband and my daughter. I think that's gonna be really very sweet that I'm knitting both of them at the same time. So that's one, two, three. Okay, last one. I really am racing the sun. I can like see the sunset out my windows over here, so I'm like racing against the clock. This is the WIP you've seen before. It's my inspired by Ellen take on Junko Okamoto's Acorn sweater. And I still have to do, I really wanted to be done with this before I cast on my husband's sweater, but quite frankly, I knew why I was resisting. So I finished the body, which I have to say, I love. I think it looks so good. I'm like over here. This is my happy place. The color work looks even better than I thought it would. There are a ton of short rows in the body, so the back is quite a bit longer. I don't know if you can, it's hard to tell because of the hemline, the rolled hemline. But there's a lot of short rows, there's a lot of shaping, but I'm not really sure. The Nutiden is really hiding a lot of that shape work, so I'm not really sure how this is gonna end up once it's blocked. I'm really excited to wear it, but I just have to cast on the sleeves and do this bit of color work in the sleeves. And for some reason, I was really resisting it. I guess I just wasn't feeling, it's not a lot, Lil. I don't know what's holding me back, but I am really, really happy with the way the application of the motif on, hi again. I think I really like this. This might have to be, hello, my screen grab for the thing. It's really fun. Yeah, I just love it. It makes me really happy. I really want to wear it. Okay, so I have to finish these sleeves and then it'll be good to go. I was actually kind of hoping I was going to be able to wear it on Thanksgiving, but that's like 4 days away. I could do it. Should I do it? I'll try. I think I could pull it off. But I always say that. I'm always overly ambitious. But that's what this is all about, right? Just having fun, seeing what we can do, being curious. And yeah, those are my WIPs. They are my WIPs. And now on to acquisitions / plans, because I had, as I mentioned, a bunch of the Explorer Knits and Fibers Ireland collection land on my doorstep. And so after I had already been working on my daughter's sweater and my husband's sweater, both using Explorer knits and fibers, I realized I really have to make something for Luke. He loves his sweaters, my little dude. And I found a pattern that I really love and I've had for a while. This is the High Lonesome by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks, and I really love this pattern and I really want to make one for me. And I am thinking, now that I've kind of broken the seal on using different motifs, I'm wondering if I could apply this colorwork yoke to a kid's sweater and make one for Luke. So that's my next move, because I love this. And I think my little guy will too. This is the Cliffs of Moher, that's right. The Cliffs of Moher, another colorway inspired by the Irish landscape. And I'm incredibly excited to use this as the main color for Luke, and then the same color as my husband's sweater, the Giant's Causeway. I would like to do the color work in this. So with that motif that I just showed. So that's my intention. What do we think? I mean, it's very nice for a little children's sweater, but he loves sweaters. He's definitely more in the other ones I've made for him, and I think this could be a really fun application of this together. In terms of what I bought a lot of this. This is Cliffs of Moher colorway in the Rockies DK base, which I really love. It's 100% superwash merino, and it's a much more, I would probably not consider it a DK, to be totally honest. To me, it feels and acts a lot more like a sport weight. But because I knit at quite a loose gauge, I find that when I do a sport weight held with a mohair, that is closer to a DK for me than a mohair with a fingering. So I am quite excited for me to do a very fun combination. This is the Petit silk mohair from Birches and Booches, Biche and Bouche. And this color is, does it say? I forget. They're blue-green. So I'm going to hold the blue-green with the Cliffs of Moher and do a really simple raglan top-down sweater that I can wear in my very, very, very drafty gallery. Have I talked about this? The art gallery where I work is freezing. Like, so cold that everyone has like heating pads. It's a really beautiful, beautiful space, but it has like zero insulation on these gorgeous, 100-plus-year-old windows. So basically, it's the perfect place for me and my sweaters. Like, anyone who laughed, anyone who judged why a California girl should be making so much wool or surrounding herself with so much wool, like, it was meant to be. It was meant to be, because the gallery is genuinely so cold, and I am so happy that I have a perfect place to wear my snuggles. Okay, so that's plan one with this acquisition. Plan two, or actually that was plan two. So plan one is Luke's sweater. Plan two is a simple top-down raglan held with the mohair for moi. And then, look at this. So this is really special. Killarney National Park is the colorway. It's absolutely beautiful. I wish I had gotten more. And I got quite a bit. and I still wish I had more. I love this colorway. It's kind of the perfect encapsulation of my current palette and what I'm thinking about these days. So I would definitely want a sweater with this color. I'm not sure that I want to hold it double the whole way through though, because I feel like that would end up being very thick. So I was going through my stash and I came across another amazing yarn from my Rose City yarn crawl experience. Again, from Shaggy Bear Farms in Oregon. The drape on this one, unreal. And this is the Pygora alpaca and linen yarn. And it's really beautiful and so drapey. I think this would look really, really beautiful held together too. I think it would just give a really nice kind of stability to the Suri, and it's neutral enough that it's not going, I think it will play very nicely without making it too kind of shiny or apparent. So I think I might just make a lento with this. That's my current thought, is that I do a lento with this and it's just something I can wear all the frickin' time. I also thought of the Petit knit cumulus blouse, which a lot of folks have done in Explorer Knits Suri alpaca lace, and I think done so, there you go, you can see it beautifully there, done so to great success. So that might be my Explorer Knits end of year pattern. I'm not sure. So I'm still debating. And if I did that, I probably would just hold this double. Again, I'm such a loose knitter that I'm afraid holding it single on the needles I would need to get gauge would just make it really loose. And I'm not really loving that idea. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. I do have one more acquisition and then the light is really fading, so I should probably get going. Oh wait, I didn't show you all of my Explorer knits. I also got some of the color Fita, which is a really beautiful, not too warm, not too cool. It's like a cool beige or a warm gray. And there's some really subtle sprinkles in there too. I don't know if you can see. Just a stunning, stunning colorway. And, oh, here you can see the more of the Killarney National Park on Surrey next to, you can see it here, I got a little sock set on the DK, which is really beautiful. And actually my plan for these three is a colorwork sweater where this is the main color and then this is the contrast color yoke, and then I do the this beautiful muckross is the name of this color of green, and I would do muckross green on the ribbing. So that's that plan. I don't know when I'm gonna get all this done because I did order one more full kit project. Sonder yarn Sunday morning DK, been watching it for a while, lots of different colorways, a lot completely in my wheelhouse, just like absolutely yes. But I wasn't quite sure what project I would use it for. The Sonder sweater, which I really love, by the Petit knitter, I actually have the pattern for, and I would like to use the rest of my Wandering Flock DK for that, because I have so many different scraps and colors from the the lento, this lento, and then also my lento I did for my friend Yam. So anyway, I don't know if this is making any sense. So then the Falling Petals by, I'm so sorry, I forget the name. I will insert it here. Beautiful new stranded colorwork pattern. It is unfortunately only out in 2 sizes because the yoke is all charted. So each size, there's only 2 sizes because the yoke has only been charted for 2 sizes, but there is the intention to create more of those yokes. Like it's a full yoke for each size, a full chart rather for each size. So each size needs its own chart. So basically the designer is working on making those charts for the following sizes, and the 2 that are available now are basically a medium and a large. And so I think it's meant to be oversized, but I do think that more sizes are coming from what I understand. I am so excited about the pattern. I would like it to be my kind of first knit of 2023. I think it would be a really great way to start the year. And when I was looking at the different color combinations Sonder yarn came up with for kits, I knew that's the yarn I wanted to use for the pattern, and it just, I really kind of went in a bit of a different direction, and I'm very, very excited about it. This is Tickled, which will be the petal part of the yoke, so the lighter color is Tickled, and then the darker color is called Peace and Quiet. And I really like the combination of those 2 things too, because yeah, it's just really lovely. There, that color is much better. You can see just a beautiful twist. The fiber here is Masham and Blue Flaced Leicester. Oh, you can see it on the label. Sorry, you didn't need me to tell you. Oh, Lordy. Anyway, I'm very excited about this. It was totally probably unnecessary. I have a lot of yarn for a lot of projects, and I'm really starting to come to terms with that a little bit. I am not going to put a huge amount of pressure on myself in these last few weeks of the year, but I am seriously considering thinking about next year and planning out what yarn I might need and what yarn I really might not need, and all thinking about what I already have when it comes to planning out the next patterns I want to make. And quite frankly, I have 4 WIPs right now, so I just have to kind of really focus on getting those out by the end of the year, and I think that they're all well on their way. What else? That's it for yarniness. How are we doing on time? I think I have a few minutes for some life chit chat, little chitty chat. Things are good. I'm really glad to be kind of on the other side of October. October was such a crazy month for our family, and then the first week of November when I was back in New York was also really intense, and I was just very tired, and again, I just kind of over committed, not just in terms of what I might tell other folks I could do, but also just in terms of telling myself what was possible and what I could do. So I'm really looking forward to working on being more gentle with my schedule and with myself for the last few weeks of the school, school year, of the year. And any other lifey stuff? I thought there was a bunch of stuff I was going to talk about. What I'm loving. Oh, I was thinking I might do kind of a favorite things end of the year podcast if that sounds interesting. Like not really a gift guide, but kind of a gift guide for knitters in terms of things that have really kind of helped me up my game, or just have a smoother time with projects, because there are definitely some things I've discovered in the last 6 months or so that have really helped out. So that's one thing I was thinking of. Oh, my running's going really well. It's taking a lot of time. I had the thought the other day where I was like, I really wish I could knit while I ran. That would be like the perfect thing. But of course, it would be very counterproductive for each of the activities. These are like very opposing activities. The running stuff has been really interesting though. It's brought up a lot of my own kind of things I thought I was super in the clear about in terms of exercise, and you know, I really have always loved being active and have, you know, I think a pretty good head on my shoulders about separating my physical activity from any sort of focus on body image and weight. And I did notice though that I was like genuinely getting bigger as I started getting higher and higher up in the mileage. Right now I'm running, my next long run is 16 miles. And as I kind of have, you know, going higher and higher in those mileage weeks, I've definitely noticed like pants are not fitting as well. And that's just because my legs and my glutes are getting bigger, and that's actually like a really good thing, because if they weren't, I probably couldn't run 16 miles. So it's been really good for me to like think, of course that's a good thing. Like, of course strength is important. And I bring this up in the context of our work here around knitting, because I do think garment making can be, you know, a really healing practice as folks who might be struggling with body expectations and thoughts around that. And yeah, I just think it's kind of a lifelong process of recalibrating. For those of us who grew up in diet culture, you know, recalibrating our opinions and judgments of ourselves, because as much as I feel like I have grown in that way, this marathon training has also really opened my eyes to the fact that it's still present, and it's still in me, and it's still something that I am working on and working towards. So that's been kind of interesting part that was unexpected, that I honestly was just like, yeah, I'm just here to, you know, do the thing, and then it always brings up new pathways to consider. You think, I guess there really wasn't much to chat about. I can hear my little dude's having a bit of a cough, so I'm gonna go help with that. And I just wanted to say thank you to this community. Thank you to everyone who's watched every one of my videos, especially if you're one of the people who's still watching right now. Just my thanks, my appreciation. Thanksgiving really is my favorite holiday. I know it's cheesy, I know it's deeply problematic, and it still is for me. The time of year is really special. The type of gathering that for me is very non-commercial in my kind of subculture. It really is about disengaging more from the outside world and looking inward towards my family unit and the care and love that cooking for each other and spending time together away from the demands of a larger world is all about. And I'm hosting, I have hosted Thanksgiving for a number of years. Sometimes it's just our family, sometimes it's 5 different families. And this year it's somewhere in between, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to have the people I love be around me and for us all to share together. So thank you for being here and sharing with me. And I am, again, just basking in a lot of appreciation, and also really hopeful for the future. So that's the great thing about knitting, is there's always something to look forward to, whether it's the next sleeve or the next project. It's really a great way to mark time and mark experience. So thank you for being a part of that. I will hopefully see you guys very soon. I apologize for the sporadic timing of these. It really is just a happy part of my life and not something that I'm, stressing out about. So I should really leave it here. The light is fading. Thank you all. I appreciate you, and keep putting yourself out into the world. It's such a great place that you're here. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.